Have you ever wondered if you could take a Squire Telecaster, swap a few parts around, and make it play, feel, and sound just as good as a Fender? Well, we're going to take you through what we did to modify this guy today, right here on GearGasms. Hi kids, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your host, Alan Barnes. Today, we're going to take what used to be a Squire Telecaster, a Squire Affinity Telecaster, and I'm going to show you the modifications that I made to this guitar little by little along the way to turn it into something that plays, sounds, and feels just as good as a Fender Telecaster. We're going to show you how this thing sounds in just a minute, but first, the data. I bought it for a recording project I was working on a few years ago, actually 10 years ago, and I knew I wanted a Tele to use in the recording, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money, so I threw down a couple $100, got a Squire Tele. I found that during the recording process, I used it a lot more than I ever thought I would, particularly for rhythm sounds. There's a lot of Tele in that recording project tucked underneath the high gain sounds as well. I sort of got to the point where I really started to like this guitar, but there were some things I didn't like about it. One of the first things I didn't like about it was the original stock pickups. So I ended up getting Tex-Mex, which are the Mexican-made version of the Texas Specials. And while I was doing it, I decided the original pickguard looked cheap, and I wanted to put a genuine Fender Perloid pickguard on this. I decided another thing that I didn't love about it was the feel of the original Squire neck. I didn't like that the width of the nut was a little bit thinner than the Fender Telecaster. So I found a Mighty Mite neck. Mighty Mite makes licensed Fender necks for Telecasters and Strats. It had a wider width, a little bit bigger frets, really sandy, smooth, satiny neck, just kind of a bare naked feel, where the other one had a lot of lacquer on it. So the only thing that's original from this guitar is the body, the volume and tone pots, and the switch and the tuners. Again, I decided not to go with Fender tuners because I was trying to keep my costs down. I put my own string tree on, and one little thing that I did when it was all done, I didn't want the headstock to be plain, but what I decided to do to sort of keep it Fendery is I got a water slide decal, one of these little clear vinyl decals, and I put it on there. I don't ever plan to sell it as a Fender. Anytime I've taken it anywhere, even to informal jams, I always make sure that I point out right away that it says Fender on the headstock, but it's actually a Partscaster. So I think all in all, it was a success, and it was a good value, and I would spend that money all over again, because at the end of the day, I've got something that I really like, and I'm not that precious about it. Okay, we learned about the Fender. That's not a Fender, it's really a Squire. I'm just going to play some clean neck through the Marshall, no other effects, a little bit of reverb, all EQs at noon. I could say that now because Mark Agnesi is no longer on Guitar of the Day, so I can steal all his crap. Notice how smooth and glassy the Texas Special pickups are, but they're not Texas Specials. Did I say Texas Specials? They're Tex-Mex. I keep calling them Texas Specials, but they're the MIM version of the Texas Specials. They still sound really good. Now the bridge pickup, a little bit of twangy. Before I forget, it's t-shirt shout out time, kids. And I'm rocking the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino from Punta Cana. I know I usually rock some kind of guitar related shirt, but this is related to guitars because not only is it a fantastic hotel and resort, but one thing they do down there that's really cool for guitar players, at least they did a couple years ago, at no extra cost to you, they've paired with Fender, and they have a selection of probably 15, 16 different Fender guitars and little Fender modeling amp pod-like things with headphones. You get one of those delivered to your room. You can change the guitar every day. They will bring you a different guitar. And I got the chance to put my hands on so many great guitars during that week that I was there. It was great to have a guitar in the hotel room and not to have to pack one or bring one. So Hard Rock Casino and Hotel in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. 2 thumbs up. Great experience. All right, here's something you don't see in a lot of Tele demos. We're going to chug this bitch.
Just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Of course, when you play this Tele clean, you can't help but think of like great 80s Tele players like Andy Summers. A little bit of chorus. You can certainly get that recipe pretty easily. Switch it to the middle pickup and it's even better. I'm using the MXR chorus, the MXR analog chorus, and to me, Telecaster and chorus, they just seem to mix really, really well. It also sounds cool with the phaser. But man, oh man, you can just sit here for days and just almost everything you play, throw a little bit of chorus on a Tele, just sounds beautiful. of course, if you want to get those spanky Telecaster sounds, it's all on tap here too. Again, remember, this thing started off life as a Squire. You can get really, really beautiful neck, warm sounding stuff. Well, kids, what did we learn today about this guitar? We learned that if you like modifying guitars, getting yourself into a Squire Tele or a Strat is a great mod platform. You can change the parts out as you go along. Almost anything that Fender makes is going to be interchangeable with the Squire series, so you can take your time with it. And little by little, this guitar evolved too. I didn't swap everything out at once. Did one thing, decided how I liked it, did something else. The bolt-on neck, the modularity of the design in general, really lends itself to modifications. As you heard from the video, plays like a beast. It'll do pretty much anything you throw at it. The Tex-Mex pickups are kind of hot, so you can certainly shred some Aussie on this thing. It'll do blues, it'll clean up and do jazz. Obviously it does country and rockabilly. This kind of turned me into a Tele guy. I've got another one now, and a Tele is something that I only begrudgingly bought long after I started playing guitar. I would have had no idea that 10 years later that I would own multiple Telecasters and be such a fan of this guitar. So if you get a chance, run out and grab a Squire, start rocking out on it, swap the parts out piece by piece, and make a Telecaster of your dreams, save a lot of money, and learn a lot in the process. As always, thank you for your time. We love doing these videos. We try to keep them fun and informative. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you leave some comments. I really enjoy reading them. I'm still responding to every single one. I promise you that. I'm Alan Barnes saying we'll see you right here again next week on GearGasms.